Meeting called to order, 10 a.m., February 12th, 2025. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast by way of our local cable access channel, WCAT, Facebook, and YouTube. If anyone in the audience is recording, please let us know. Howie, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. number
Article
two.
1?
Number 2.
or number 2. All right. I make a motion to sign all current bills.
I'll second that.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And number 3.
Minutes of January 22nd. I make a motion to sign the minutes as written.
Okay, I'll second that.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Picture the paper that goes with that. Okay, number 4. Discuss and vote on purchasing 3 new computers from Entree for the wastewater treatment plant and office.
I guess we're talking a grand total of $9,000.
No, no. Delivered.
It's 4,000 something.
It's $4,515.
What, that's for 3 of them?
That's for 2 computers at the wastewater treatment plant and 1 in my office.
Okay, but Ralph, do you have any input on that? Do we have money, or it's kind of in the middle of the year and it's kind of just a kick in the pants because we didn't budget for it,
Yeah.
so.
Are we gonna go to Windows 13?
Windows 11.
11?
Yeah. So currently, right now, Madam Chair, the computers that are within your department are going to be obsolete and will pose as a cybersecurity threat for the future. And what I mean by obsolete is that they will, the current operating system will not update and will not be able to run with Windows 11 and will not have the updates that are required come this October. So it has been recommended by our IT provider that we upgrade all of the computers because of that potential threat, and that these computers are beyond their useful life and they're old operating systems. So I took the liberty of getting a quote from Entree. They are on the state bid list. The quote is in front of you this morning for your consideration. I will let you know that I placed the order yesterday for the town. We're doing all of our computers here within town. We had reserved some money from the town of $30,000, but I was also able to get a grant for $24,700. So we're using both pools of money to replace all of the computers for the town offices. I would highly recommend that you guys take action on this to get these computers because you know, they will pose a threat and they will not have the updates needed come this October. We were also notified by Entree yesterday, or earlier in the week, I should say, that tariffs are going to be coming on some of these computers in the next coming weeks, and these prices will increase if there's a delay.
I'd just like to ask you a question. I know we have to pay for our own, but does the town at this point, from the grant money and the money you, that 30,000, do they have enough to pay for all of them? And then we could budget and you can take it out in July 1st?
There's no really way to, we could do that. You
Well, I
guys
don't-
do
I'm
have,
not- Why should we put ourselves in the hole if we don't know if we're gonna have enough money?
well, I think you guys do have enough money in your
Well, I
expense
don't, I
account.
have no idea, we don't know what's gonna,
Well, you have your budget line right there. The budgets just came out. I think there's plenty of money in there.
right, but how do we know if we have a major, I mean, it wasn't budgeted for, I don't know.
Anything can happen, but I mean, if we gotta get them, we gotta get them, I guess.
So I don't wanna hear any crying if we don't have any money after. So, Howie, what do you think? I mean, that's a dirty trick to pull on somebody midway. What do you wanna do?
I will let the board know, and I will remind the board that the town did subsidize some of the projects at last town meeting.
Did we
through
know
free-
that? We
Through
know
free
that.
cash. So, we did step up to the plate to address some of the projects that the board wanted
that's
to get
not-
done.
That has nothing to do with it. I said we know we have to pay for it. We just weren't informed last budget season to plan on that. And, Howie, what do you wanna do?
Well, you brought up a good point, Joan. We gotta make sure that we got the money in the budget, now, this budget, not the future.
Mhm.
It's gonna come out of this budget or the future budget.
This budget.
This budget. What is the accounting in the, can I see your budget? What do you have in your expense account as of right now?
I just got these papers, so, do you have that with you?
So I'm looking at,
Supplies, yeah.
it would be, that computers would be considered supplies, correct?
Right.
One's 100 and something, and 104. One's 80 something, I don't know which is what.
So, I'm looking at, so as, with the most recent report that Jackie gave me, it looks like we have in, sewer maintenance and operation supplies, we have $71,376.76 left.
And that's until June 30th.
And I do have some big amounts being taken out of there with the bills. I gave her over $12,000 for 2 oil deliveries at the wastewater treatment plant and a Holland Company chemical delivery. So there's over $12,000 in bills coming out of that account with the bills that are being signed today.
58, saying that, about 52,
Something like that.
but, you know, with the computers.
Of course, I mean, with the cold weather we're having, we probably need, probably be at least 2 or 3 more oil deliveries at the plant. Plus you have the chemicals, which,
What do you wanna do?
so the computers would be $4,515 for the 3 computers.
And what about this thing we got coming up with Ty and Bond, that 34,000 that they're gonna charge us?
That's not gonna come out of the, that's, I thought we had, an article to pay for that. That was voted on at town meeting.
Madam Chair, if you'd like to wait till July, that's fine, that's up to you guys. You know, I'm just bringing, I did the homework to get you the quote, but that's the quote as of today, so
Right.
if you wanna wait, then that's up to you guys. I will let you know that come October, those devices will not be supported anymore and will be posing as a cybersecurity risk for the town.
That does sound like a good idea, Jim. You know, it isn't like something we gotta have them tomorrow. You know, you can,
But they are gonna be coming and hooking them up too.
So what you're telling, sorry,
That's all right, go ahead.
what you're telling us is if we were to wait on, you said you already ordered the computers, correct?
For the town, yeah.
So if we were to wait till July and
The price could be different.
the
Will be.
price could be.
More than likely will be different.
Could be, in other words, instead of $4,515, we might be talking $6,000 or $7,000.
I don't know. Could be.
well,
Well, I'd like to leave it to Ralph, because you have the hands on the money. I mean, you know better than we would what might come up. You know, you might have to order more chemicals. We're not done for the year, are we?
No.
So that's gonna be another sizable amount.
Is there a point where I can transfer money from one account to another?
You should be able to do a transfer, come May 1st. You'd have to make a request with the, FinCom.
So, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Do you wanna make a motion to do it?
well, I would like to wait till July. That's what I'd like to do, because we got the money gonna be pretty doggone close, like Lisa mentioned. And then, in July, we'll look at it again. How does that sound, Joan?
But then it's gonna be quite a bit more money.
Well, go to 10% increase, 10% increase on their old figures, take it or leave it.
What are the tariffs?
Huh?
If they're putting tariffs on everything, then we don't know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a good gimmick. Well, Howie, let's just go for it. Ralph thinks if he can transfer some money in May, then we might be able to afford it.
And I don't believe we would run out before May with the current rate of purchases for oil and chemicals and stuff.
So, as of now, what is the exact wording involved? You wanna get them now, Joan?
Yeah, look at number 4. Just make a motion to purchase the 3 new computers.
And Ralph, you have 2 computers down at the plant, right?
Okay, I'll second that motion.
I didn't make the motion, I was just telling you where
Oh.
to do it. So
Excuse
you have
me.
to make the motion. Oh, well, what the heck. I'll make a motion to purchase the 3 new computers from Entree for the wastewater treatment plant and office for $4,515.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
I'll second that aye. I hope we don't get into trouble.
And,
Always something, always.
and number 5, to discuss the classification and compensation review completed by the Collins Center at UMass in January of 2025.
just sent it to you.
Does anybody have anything to say about that? Ralph? Okay,
Madam Clerk, Madam Chair, I do want to bring something to your attention that was discovered as part of this Collins Center study, okay? As we go through the Collins Center, and we had a finer look at everybody's wages, steps, classifications, okay? It has been, it's come to our attention that an employee, Lisa, the secretary here, is owed steps for payment, okay? That is the board's responsibility to have put that into the budget back in 2020. So in 2020, the board, or the chief operator at the time, when they formulated the budget, did not include two steps in which an employee was owed. And that is the responsibility of those entities. So we're in the process of making a calculation, and she will be owed some retro.
but just for your information, we never did that. The employees took care of that on their own. When they had a step increase, they dealt with the treasurer and the,
No,
Account.
that's not how it works. So
well, that's how we were doing it, and that's how the other people were doing it, so,
it's up for the supervisor to.
now it is, but in the past, that's how it was. That's why it wasn't done, because they were all reminded to take care of that.
Well, I've had a discussion with Lisa yesterday about it. You know, she is going to be more mindful of that as well. But it is the responsibility of the department head or the board chair to check when they formulate their budget to make sure that the employee steps are correct. And if they're due a step, then it has to be calculated into the budget.
I know the year that happened, in 2020, I thought I was maybe due for a step increase, and everything was real crazy that year, cause that was the year that Sean left, and we
Yeah.
actually did not have a chief operator for a while until Ralph got hired, so that was also the year of COVID, and everything was kinda like, and then I thought I kinda mentioned that I think I might have a step increase coming, and then what kinda got me to approach, I figured I better bring it up before the budget is completed for fiscal year 26.
So, you know, step increases are calculated every 3 years upon 3 years on their anniversary date. So I guess Lisa was hired back in December of 2002. And so, you know, it's 3 years from that time. So, every 3 years would equate to a step.
Cause I know when I first got hired, the pay scale was different from how it is now, and there was a minimum that before step one, and I started out at the minimum, and then after 3 years,
Yeah.
I was at step one.
Right.
And
So, basing it upon that, okay, we are in the process of doing the final calculations of what Lisa will be owed. In fact, she will be owed 2 steps. She has been at a step 5 for quite some time. She should be at a current step 7. So the new pay moving forward will be calculated at a step 7, which is $20.98, I believe, an hour. And so that's for fiscal year 25. Fiscal year 26 will be, you know, something different.
She'll just be getting the difference from what she's getting now to bring her up to those 2 steps.
So currently, you know, we're estimating, and this is not a final number, but we're estimating that she is owed north of $4,000.
Mhm,
So, that has to be paid.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, definitely has to be paid, but I'd like to see what she was making and the steps before we sign something. Well, 'cause they weren't getting that much for a step increase.
It's based off the wage scale, so
Right.
every 3 years, it's whatever the wage scale says.
Right, right. But she was getting her regular pay for a certain step. And then she would get the difference between that step and the next step, right?
It's all calculated, yeah, but it's all at different rates, because you're spanning over, this error happened in 2020.
Right,
So you're spanning over 5 years
Right.
of back pay
right,
that needs to be paid.
right, I know that. So, we'd like to see something in front of us.
Well,
when
I
it
have a
gets-
draft right here.
Okay. Howie, you wanna reach over and get that? Howie, can you reach over and get that?
That's an estimate, that is not a final.
And in the future, I think the board needs to have certain information of when people are hired and when they get their step increases, because we don't have access to that. She has access to that, and the accountant would talk to her about it when people were having, because she has all that in front of her. We don't have that.
So again, you know, you can coordinate that with your chief operator who develops the budget, and that could be his or her responsibility, or his responsibility.
One thing that would be helpful, I noticed I just received, I guess, vacation and sick time allocations for each person. And the information on top for years of service and such, those are not correct, because my paper still says 1 year.
So you have to check with the town accountant on that.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I approached her, because on my sheet, it said 21 years of service. Well, it made 22 years as of December
Correct.
of 2024, so I asked her to correct that.
Mhm.
And I know that information with the new spreadsheet she's using, that information never used to be on those papers
That is
in the
correct.
past.
But if it was correct, you would know.
One thing that I will say that I'm still, I have to look up the MGL, okay? What is owed to her, we can pay this fiscal year, okay? If it's previous fiscal years, that may have to go on to a vote for town meeting and have to be explained at a town meeting. So, you guys may have to go to the town meeting in June and have an article on. That may happen. I don't know if that will, but, you know, that's like a previous fiscal year
Right.
expenditure. I'm not sure if that also applies to pay. I have to look up the MGL. But if it does, then we'll have to go that route, and then she would be paid after town meeting, or, you know, she certainly will be paid
Right.
for the money that is owed this fiscal year soon.
So going forward, in fiscal year 25, when I do up my pay sheet, I should put down the step 7 rate for 2025 on that pay scale.
On the current pay scale,
Okay,
which is $20.98. That is what you will be making.
okay.
Now, again, that money was never budgeted for. So is that something that's supposed to come out of my pay, or, you know, the budget?
It's gonna come out of the salary line.
Right, yeah, and I would think we'd have some money in the salary line, because we've had employees that are not being paid. We don't have
Well,
enough
we-
staff, so
We
the
have
money would be.
one position that
Yeah.
has been empty for a while.
So that should be there, so. Can I see that? Can I see that?
Yeah. Well,
Did you see this, Lisa?
No,
You can give that back to Jim, but you can make a copy.
okay.
Those are estimates, that's not final numbers, so.
Would you rather I hold off before making a copy, or, okay? When you come out with the final figures?
I believe, when you had your meeting yesterday to talk about this, you had mentioned that, current pay scale that you're at, if you add 2%, it should fall into the matrix.
So the current hourly rate that you're making, whatever your current hourly rate, you add 2%, and then you find where the closest number to that is on the new wage scale.
Because I've done one, our new employee Jeff, he's right in the middle of two different pay scales, so I didn't know whether it should go up or down with it.
So what is, so we can talk, I can show you how to calculate that.
Because I did exactly mine and it was right dead on to the penny.
Some of them work like that, some of them don't.
Okay, are we done with that? You want to give your report?
Yeah, I guess. First of all, we had a water sewage main break, not the main, but lateral, up on East Street yesterday. Highway was called because they thought they had a broken water line. And so Highway dug the road, which was newly paved. And after digging, I was told that it was probably a sewer line. Jeremy and I both went up there and it was certainly a sewer line. The contractor, whoever did the work prior to repaving, he broke the line. Whether he realized he did or didn't, I don't know.
And what street is this?
East Street. We made the repair anyway, but I don't feel that we should have to pay for it. The town should have, town shouldn't have to pay for it. It should be paid for by whomever the contractor was that was digging. Myself and Jeremy both agree that it was definitely hit by whoever was digging in that area, just the way it was fractured.
But I don't think the town was doing any work on East Street.
Jeremy said they were digging. Now, did they put a water line in up there?
Now, there were, I know back in the fall,
We were dealing
Didn't-
with school and Prospect Street, Richardson Street, nothing on East Street.
Yes.
back in the fall,
Huh?
It was. That's where they're putting those 3 new houses in?
Well, that may be because of houses, but nothing to do with town related.
Whoever was digging
Is
up
responsible.
there before Jeremy got it repaved or recoated, they were digging in there. I don't know what they were doing either, but I know they were digging there. And Jeremy agrees definitely that they were digging there, but
So somebody would have to go after whoever the private contractor is.
Are
right?
you-
I can just tell you it wasn't town work.
would it be,
Yeah, yeah.
are you,
Well-
is it in the area, so there were some sewer connection permits that were taken out by Lone Oak Enterprises for,
yeah.
they're gonna build a total of 3 new houses, and I
It was
thought
in that
they,
area, but it was still adjacent to the lot that hasn't been built up yet. And it was from the house across the street. It was a lateral. So,
So I would suggest getting with Lisa and contacting the people that, get those permits pulled for East Street.
But somebody had to give them permission to dig. Did Jeremy give them
he
permission?
must have,
So he would know who it was?
yes. He mentioned the name, but I'm not familiar with the
Yeah.
contractors around here.
Yeah,
Well, what was the name?
I don't recall.
but he would have given the permission, so,
I could look on those permits and see who's lit, because it was Lone Oak Enterprises.
It's got nothing to do with the new houses.
Okay, it's nothing to do with that, okay.
so that's why you need to ask Jeremy, because he knows who was
He
digging,
contracted to
Yeah.
do the work.
so. Do you want her to call Jeremy, or,
I'm gonna go up there.
Okay.
after she was talking about
okay,
right after this.
all
But
right.
anyways, Fontaine came up, finished the job, put in a new piece of pipe, covered it up.
Do you know what the total of the, yeah. So he'll probably bill whoever, Jeremy,
Well, that was the discussion Jeremy and I had,
Mhm.
who's gonna be paying for this.
yeah,
We both feel it should be the contract.
right. Right, that's the way it usually goes. All right then. So you let us know how you make out with that eventually. Okay. And do you have some more?
The scum pump that we've been working on trying to replace, him and I spoke, and he felt it would be good if we went through Ty and Bond to get a official or professional
Mm-hmm.
description of the work and what needs to be done. So that's this contract, it's for $34,000 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I do have $85,000 off that for the line item. I had thought 85 would cover the installation of both the pumps
Mm-hmm.
and purchase the pumps, but now if we take out the 34, we're down to about 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do that, I guess, so we can go up to bid. It has to be a bid package,
Mm-hmm.
which they would supply.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that 50,000 would not be enough
Mm-hmm.
to replace the parts. And that would, you'd know that once the bid came back.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, I think that 50,000 is not gonna be,
So would you be doing that work under this budget, or are you gonna add some to the,
we gotta do something, we gotta get going with this stuff, so,
Mhm, right?
I mean,
I didn't know how long it would take to get the pumps and,
it's gonna be a while, but like I say, we won't know until we get a contractor, if somebody bids on it.
right.
I mean, I guess we just gotta do this and take it out at that 85 and
I thought we had an article, that was sitting there with the, things that we had to spend for the, NPDES. Thought there was some money left in that. That would be part of that, because this is all stuff that's under that, actually,
under what,
under the permit.
permit?
Right, when they gave us our list of things that had to be done, that was conditions of our permit,
This one was not on there.
it wasn't? Oh, they added it on after?
No, I added on because the pumps don't work.
Uh-huh,
I only get about 20% efficiency and
Mhm.
eventually gonna break because I can't get repair parts, I can't get a pump that will fit directly on.
mhm. Well, they were just gonna have to add it to this year's budget, I mean, the fiscal 20,
Well, like I say, 85, take it out of the 85, and if we need to put more money in,
What is the 85 for?
that was for the replacement of the pumps,
Okay.
assuming we didn't do the study.
Well, it's not a study,
Well-
it's bid specs. So, you'd have to check with the accountant if that pot of money can be used for what you're proposing.
Certainly, why not?
Well, if it is the article for the replacement of the pump?
What does it say on the sheet?
On the expenditure ledger,
Yeah, it's on the second page of it.
fiscal year 25 annual town meeting wastewater plant scum pump replacement. And the amount in the article is $85,000.
So if we're required to have this to put a bid out, it's part of the replacement.
Just verify that with the accountant if she's okay with that, and then I'd be fine with that.
Okay.
and then we can still add to it from our new budget.
Once we see what the bids come in at.
When are you gonna have to have that signed?
Try
Lisa, do you have a copy of that?
I
Yes.
do.
Howie, do you want to make a motion to sign this contract with Ty and Bond for the services? You had your thing right in front of you.
And I'll make a motion, we, sign the agreement with Ty and Bond Contractors for work services gonna be done.
For the scum pumps.
That's for engineering services and bid specs.
I think the amount was like 34,000 or something. You have I think it's 34,000.
The copy of it, I gave it to you, it's 34,300.
Lisa? Make a copy, give it to Ralph, and you can give him the original.
And if you want, I can email it to
That's fine.
you and I'll make a copy of it after the meeting's done if you want, and then I'll email it to Chris Bone and, who's,
Send it to me to start with,
okay,
so I can check with our,
okay, I'll send it, I won't send it to Chris Bone right away.
right. I'll verify with the accountant, I can use that money for that.
You got some more on your report, Ralph?
No,
Okay. And how is the new fellow working out?
it's doing fine.
Good. Number 7, the FY '26 budget.
And once we get the, pay scales for the workers, I've started on it,
Mm-hmm,
but that's a big part of it, so I'm waiting to finalize those
mm-hmm.
pay rates.
So you should have them in your email today, so.
But I couldn't see it.
And there's nothing to talk about. We don't have any budgets in front of us, so.
So I guess you can, to your next meeting?
Right, or once he meets with you and he finalizes it, we get a copy, we can see.
I can send it to you when I get it.
Okay, yeah, whenever you. Because it'd be good to see it before the meeting, so, and if there's anything to be said, it can be said before that, so. And discuss and vote on authorizing one sewer commissioner's signature on bills. Number 8, Howie. What do you think about having one commissioner sign the bills?
Well, whose idea was it? Where did that come from? What is the idea behind that, Lisa?
Okay, here's the reason. I was told by Jim that other boards do that, are able to do that, correct? Where they did a vote at a meeting where the chairman or just one of the board members can sign bills.
As long as you provide the copy of the minutes to the accountant, yes.
The reason I came up with that is we have several bills that are very time sensitive, where we don't have a whole lot of time to get them paid. You know, I mean, and I get the bill, and I know we were doing this back during COVID when we weren't able to have meetings. That would, if, I mean, God forbid, if we had a situation where two board members were unavailable, let's say I got a bill that needed to be paid within a week, and one board member was in the hospital and another one was on vacation, and there was only one board member available to sign it, that would allow me to get the bill paid in a timely fashion. And I thought it, cause sometimes I have to kinda run around to get signatures. And like I said, if someone wasn't, you know, if you had two board members who were unavailable to sign something, I wanted to have it official that the chairman or just one board member would be allowed to sign the bills if a situation like that came up, and I figured it would be a good idea to take care of that, to have that be allowed before a situation came up where, oh my God, I have this phone bill that's due in 2 weeks, and the phone's gonna get shut off if the bill doesn't get paid, which that is kind of that AT&T, that on-call phone, they'll send you a notice threatening to shut the phone off over one bill that hasn't been paid yet. And given the amount, the time lag between the time I submit the bills to the accountant and the time the check gets issued, I mean, granted, we would still keep doing things the way we have been, but that would allow me to get the bills paid if two board members were unavailable for some reason because of hospitalization or.
The way I see it, some of the commissioners should be able to see the bills.
Well, I think what other boards do is that they may designate one person on the board to sign off on them.
And then-
However, but the next meeting, the bills would be presented to the entire board for ratification.
Correct.
Well, the way I see it, I would like to see the bills, because that tells me what's really going on.
Well, I think you would still have the bills. It would just be one signature required for payment, and then the bills would be presented to the board at a meeting for ratification and a vote.
Yeah. Because I got, most likely, some of these bills you're gonna be involved in yourself. Right?
I don't know about that.
Oh, I mean.
I'm not signing the bills. I think it's for the
No,
chair to
but
sign the bills.
That tells you what's going on in the department,
Oh, sure.
you know?
But, I mean, the thing is, I need to get the bills paid, so if I can't, so let's say you had a situation where a board member, I'm not implying this is gonna happen anytime soon, say one board member passed away, we just had a person who was on 2 town boards who passed away
You know,
rather
You can't do that
unexpectedly.
Huh?
Do it outside.
So let's say one board, I could not get 2 signatures because by the time I was able to get 2 signatures, the bill would be past due, and then we would be paying additional late fees, or God forbid, have the service get shut off because it's not getting paid, have their on-call phone at the plant get shut off, or have Republic say, we're not emptying your dumpster out.
That all happens when we have 2 signatures, because the bills don't get processed fast enough. Not your fault, but, even when the 2 of us sign it, and you turn them in, and you look at you waiting for your check to pick up the envelopes. So that meant all the rest
I
of the
actually
bills didn't
did
get.
the check was available this week, and Jim brought, I was actually gonna mention
I
that.
drove the envelopes to Roberts for you guys.
Oh,
I
thank
was
you.
actually
You're
gonna
welcome.
mention that in my report, that
Mhm.
the envelopes were delivered to Roberts yesterday afternoon. Hopefully, they will have the order completed and bring them next week, maybe by Wednesday,
Mhm.
which is when I'm gonna be printing the bills out.
So, okay, but I'm just saying, doesn't matter, even when you have two signatures, you still get notices from AT&T, and they still get nasty from the trash, and,
Well, I mean, I try to,
it's
so,
not your fault, it's
yeah,
the way they
so
do their business.
a lot of times these bills, I don't get them on the date of issue, like, they email them to me, and like, for instance, the one for the credit card there, the Wex Bank one, usually when I get that one in my inbox, it's usually a few days after the bill is issued, so it comes out on the 23rd of the month, and I usually get it in my inbox around the 28th or so. And so, a lot of these bills, like if it's due the middle of the month, I don't wanna give it to the accountant the day before it's due.
Now, is there a possibility of getting a mail on a computer instead of in real mail?
That's what I was talking about. So it gets emailed to me, and a lot of times, what I'm telling you, if you get it by the regular mail, you get it even later. Because I've gotten bills in the real mail, like National Grid, for instance, I've gotten the bills like over 2 weeks after the date on the bill. But I'm talking about the ones that are time sensitive are usually emailed to my inbox, and the bill, the date on the bill. So basically, I don't know, these different companies probably operate differently. Some of them probably have an employee who sends it over, and if the date of the bill issue is, say, on a Thursday, if the bill is goes to my inbox, say late on a Thursday afternoon or on a Friday, I won't get it until Monday. And like I said, some of these companies, I think they must have some kind of automated system where they send the bills, cause I've seen the bills got emailed to me, and the time on the email was like 9:30 PM on a Friday evening. So I don't think an employee working for that company was up at 9:30 at night sending invoices to customers.
Yeah, if they work at home, they could.
They could if they wanted to. But my point is, I mean, I just figured it would be a good idea, as long as we're able to have meetings and there's 2 sewer commissioners who are readily available, then there won't be a problem. But I thought it would be a good idea to put this in place in case we had a situation that came up where I could not get the 2 signatures in a timely fashion.
But the bottom line is, a commission, well, it's, one commissioner has actually got to sign it. A commissioner has to sign it.
Correct, so let's say you and Joan were unavailable, and I wasn't gonna be able to, say you were in the hospital, or Joan was, I'm not I mean, say one board member went on a vacation and they were gonna be out of state for like over a week, and
That
another
could
one
be
was in
us.
the hospital or something like that.
Well,
Then I would be able to get the bills paid in a timely fashion. If I have a bill that's due, the payment's due, say, on February 12th, and I'm not gonna be able to get 2 signatures until February 11th, that's not really gonna work out too well.
You wanna think about it?
Yeah,
So we'll pass
It's
this
gonna
over
be-
till the next meeting.
there's still gotta be some fine tuning of all of this. Maybe this, maybe that, I'm not sure.
Put this on the next agenda.
Madam Chair?
Basically, I wanna see the bills. That tells me what's going on in the district.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, before I leave, would you be able to sign the quote that you guys just approved for Entree so I could take that for my records, please?
Yeah, do you have it?
Lisa, have it.
I have a copy of it.
There's a signature page at the bottom.
Okay.
Do you need one or two signatures?
This one,
Okay. I'm gonna give that to Jim.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Lisa, do you have your report?
So basically, I am going to be, doing the billing next week on Wednesday, and then I'm gonna start getting the bills ready to mail out, and I plan to have all the bills in the mail by the 27th, no later than the 27th, so I'll be working on stuffing the envelopes. I like to allow a little bit of time in case I have interruptions or something happens. I mean, you know, if I print so the bills will probably have the date, the 27th as the date. And then if I can get them, all the envelopes stuffed, I'll mail them. You know, if I could mail them out before the 27th, I will. So basically, that's where we're at with the residential billing. Jim brought the envelopes, which I picked up at the post office, to the printer to have the return address printed on them, and I was told it's about a week, to expect about a week for the order to be completed.
Okay, now I have a question. When you start your billing, you have to make an appointment with the people that did installed the,
That's what I've been doing, and I especially with the big billing, and then with the, I am gonna be adding a new account, so I do need,
okay, I have a question, another question. Do we have to pay for that every time she has to go get them to help her with the billing?
I'm sorry?
Every time she does billing, she talks to, who is that you talk to?
well, the woman I talked to, her name is Allison.
But what company?
Vadar.
So if she talks to Vadar every time she does billing, do we get billed for that?
There could potentially be a charge, yes, if there's no time left on training.
Mhm. And do you have any idea how long that's gonna be?
Well, I'm expecting it, so most of the time when I call her, if it's a commercial billing, it's usually less than 30 minutes. It's going to be longer because I'm doing the big residential billing. I'm adding a new account, and I'm also going to be doing the commercial billing for January. So it's going to be a longer session than when I do just do a commercial billing and I do maybe 3 or 4 bills.
But do we know how long she's gonna keep doing that before we get charged?
Well, the training, this software was installed about almost 2 years ago,
Uh-huh.
so, the training, we've,
Well-
used all our training hours, so, there could be a potential charge to the department.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering about that every time she does any kind of billing, that she has to get in touch with them. But how long before you can do it by yourself?
Well, I would rather, I feel better doing it with them rather than, because I would rather, if I do it myself and I make a mistake, and then I have to go back to them anyway to correct it.
But we kind of need to know how much that charge is gonna be too. It's billing time, budget time. So we need to find out what they're charging. I
I
haven't,
mean, I have not received a bill from them. I don't know what to say.
but
I
did
mean,
the
they
town
haven't-
get one and not know it was?
We pay a license agreement every year.
Yeah.
And in the fall, I was notified that our training hours that were allotted for every department
Uh-huh.
have been used up.
Mhm.
So I would imagine, if this is a long training session of a half hour or an hour, and depending on how many times a person calls, if it's a quick question, then we probably wouldn't get charged,
Mhm.
but the longer you're on the phone and the longer you go through it, and
Right.
they'll classify that as another training,
Right.
and they'll charge you. I mean, it's a few $100s an hour.
Right, so we need to find out if
Well,
they're
like I
charging
said,
us.
some of the sessions, so I bill monthly, and the commercial bills, like the shorter, like some of the months, I only do like a couple of bills, like monthly bills,
Oh.
and the session is very short, then it's not gonna be a real short session when I do the billing
Okay, Lisa,
next
but
week.
my question is, we need to find out, are we being billed for this every time? Who's getting the bill? I mean, we don't wanna get hit with another.
I can ask about that.
Well, I wish you
But
would.
I can ask about that, but all I can tell you right now is, as of now, I have not received any bills from them.
Well, you're going to, more than likely, if you continue to use that service, because we've used all of our allotted training hours.
But I didn't know if somebody, like, it just came to the town in general, and it was on there.
Well, I mean, if I get a bill and I'll know what it's for, and I'll bring it to you guys,
Okay.
but she should find out,
Yeah.
how much the cost, and to see if they're gonna charge us.
Right,
If it's a simple call,
right,
they probably won't charge us. But if, she
Right.
mentioned something about a half hour or longer,
Right.
then they'll probably will charge us.
right, right. But I still would like to know why you can't get to a point where you don't need them. Because it's the same stuff if you're adding an account or,
Because basically, when I do the billing, I could try to do it myself, but it would probably, if I ran into a problem, I'd end up calling them anyway. Because there's all these steps you have to take with that software when you generate a bill, and, I mean, I don't know what to say, I mean,
well, we'll just find out. The next meeting you can let us know.
I mean, I'm definitely going to need the support when I do the big billing next month. Maybe I can try to get
I
to a
wanna be
point
able to see you.
where I can do the rest of the billing without them for the rest of this year.
Right, any old business, new business, comments and concerns? Anything, Ralph? Anything?
I'll second that motion.
You can make the motion to adjourn
I'll make the motion.
at 11 o'clock.
Comments and concerns. We're working on it.